Morning viewers, we are about to hit the road this morning. We're having an early start again. It's just gone 6:30 and it's still dark outside. The coastline here is definitely very much warmer than the inland areas, so let's just have a quick squiz at the route we're going to take. We're going to backtrack a little bit today due to the conditions of the roads that we're supposed to be traveling. Apparently they are quite good on most of it. There's just certain parts where you've got to cross the rivers and some of the mountain passes that have been washed away by the rain and not recommended to go through with the bikes that we've got. I'm sure I'd probably give it a bash and take a chance, but in team spirit, Trevor's also not too keen to fall off today since he's had a fall already on the trip, and we're going to stick with him and backtrack a little bit. Let's show you where we're going today. We are currently here in Swartkooppunt, so we're going to backtrack a little bit on the tar today. And our final destination is going to be down here at Mariental, which is all the way down there again. We have about a 700k trip today, and we just wanted to get an early start for that. The desert camel is ready to hit the road. It's had a good drink at the Puma filling station yesterday afternoon. Had her full and ready to tackle the long road ahead. The Kalahari Ferrari is complaining. He doesn't want to be on this sand road, but we got to take it to get out of here. There's a fine mist in the air, almost like a fine drizzle. I'm not going to put my raincoat on. I'm sure it'll clear as soon as we get up into the higher areas. I can't believe how this sand just throws the bike's front wheel to the left and right so easily. Quite absurd. I'd love to be here on my Enduro bike just to give it a feel. I think with the correct tires on, it would be a lot better. You certainly need to come to the Namibian territory definitely with some knobbly tires. A on-off-road tire as I've got on the bike is not what one is looking for these sort of conditions in the sand. A knobbly, definitely. I can definitely say if you're going to come and tour Namibia too as well, you certainly need to consider what bike you're going to be bringing with and your load. I would never come to Namibian territory again on the GS unless I was going to stick to the tar. I would come on a smaller bike, more manageable, more nimble, and definitely leave all the kit behind. Just bring your toothbrush and some soap, something warm, and a rain jacket, nothing more. The mist has turned into a moderate drizzle, making the visibility quite bad. You can see on my screen there, it's a bit more than mist now. The weight of the bikes, what a difference it does make. I mean, just going to do a little bit of shopping yesterday for our evening's meal. That's that one packet of goodies, putting that onto the bike might only been about a kilo, maybe a kilo and a half, but how that changes the ergonomics of the bike immediately. I could feel it. I'd had extra weight on, and it made it even more top heavy just with that slight kilo. So come to a conclusion, to do a bit of adventure riding, I'm back on the get rid of everything. Don't take anything with. Just the real bare essentials to get you by day. The fog, the mist has lifted, the drizzle is gone. The desert camel has kept most of the wet off of me with a screen. The way it deflects the wind keeps you quite dry behind you. Just the arms are a little wet and chilly, but quite impressed with the way it keeps the most of the wet off you. In a couple of hours I know we'll be cooking again. I expect we're going to see a lovely sunrise this morning. We're riding straight into it. I think it's going to be epic. The moment we've been waiting for. That sunrise over the Namibia Plains. Isn't that magnificent? What a great start to the day. You can't beat this for a good old mountaineering if you need one. Very difficult to see the road ahead with that bright sun in your eyes. The Kalahari Ferrari's band-aid on the fuel tank has started to sweat a bit of fuel. I'm pretty certain it's going to hold out until we get back home. Trev's a bit concerned. But if it gives us a hassle where it starts to leak badly, we'll just stop by a shop and get some of the good old green Vard sunlight soap and plug it with that. That's going to be a bit more flexible, and I'm pretty sure it's going to seal it off. I've known in the older days, if the folk banged a hole in their fuel tank in their 4x4, you can stick a bit of that in the sun, soften it and plug your hole, providing it's not a gash, just a hole, not bad. You can plug it with a good old bar of green sunlight soap. So that'll be the order of the day, should that be necessary. I'd completely forgotten about the bush mechanic balancing of the front wheel yesterday. But just to come back about that one, look at this. What a pleasure. No more wobbly dobbly handlebars, well, very slight anyway. So that was a successful temporary fix. I'm quite impressed with our workmanship. I'm not disappointed. Backtracking a little bit, we get to see the Namib from a different angle on the same route, and it doesn't quite look the same as coming through. It's not recognizable, put it that way. Still an amazing ride through. The mountain range has started to appear in front of us that we passed 2 days ago, and it is quite something to see from this side. The Namib is truly unique with the landscapes you get to travel through from one side to the other. It really is. Trev needs a quick fuel up. I'm still good. What a lovely ride so far. Right, so that's the infamous band-aid we put on there, and you can see it's starting to leak a bit worse and worse. I'm afraid, I think where the bend in the tank is, there should be a bit more strength over there, but with the vibrations coming through the tank from the motor, I think it's slightly vibrating and causing it to leak, but it's not bad at the moment, acceptable for now. So let's bash on. After Trev's fuel up over there, I've just been thinking of how much more inexpensive it is for fuel in Botswana. Namibia is also a lot cheaper than South Africa, making it much easier on the pocket traveling through these countries. Just something to note. So filling a tank in Botswana costs us around, from almost empty, costs us around about 230 pula, whereas filling up here in the Namib around about 300 odd bucks. Filling up back at home, we're looking at 500 to 600 bucks. So quite a lot cheaper on your fuel bill traveling through these countries, which has been great. Our standard budget for the day that we were sticking to, or trying to stick to, we kind of just touching that. The accommodation in the areas that we're staying in is a bit higher, but our fuel bill is now a bit lower. That sort of counteracted to balance our budget for the day. Rehoboth is our next stop, next town. We're into about 4 hours of our journey now for today's travels. We have around about 3 hours
of our travel left to our destination, and we'll make a few pit stops along the way. Trev and his Kalahari Ferrari were mentioning at our fuel stop over there that he's not been as impressed with Namibia as the KwaZulu-Natal Drakensberg. I, however, have had an absolute blast through Namibia so far. I'm enjoying every minute of it. It just goes to show different strokes for different blokes. We are finally back to the back roads off the highway, and we're going to follow the secondary road all the way to Rehoboth. You can see the heavy military presence here and police presence. Definitely better off the highway again. Lovely and mountainous here, and we've got lovely windy bends to go around. That's better. Kalahari's sun is starting to bake down on us. We're going to have to make a pit stop quite soon to pull off some layers, and we're starting to see signs of game again. We seem to be travelling through the game reserve on the left now of us, and to the right, open field. We've seen quite a few buck already. This looks like our pit stop. We can remove those layers, and we'll have a little bite to eat as well from our home cooked meal that we brought with, keeping our spend down for the day. How's the Kalahari Ferrari and its opponent?
Still going.
Still going. That fuel is still coming out, but not badly. Namibia is proving to be a bit challenging when it comes to cell phone reception and internet. We've just found out now that we've lost our booking for this evening's accommodation. We did struggle to get accommodation in Mariental already, where we stay tonight, and not sure what's going to happen further. So we have arrived at the Tropic of Capricorn. There's a Kalahari Ferrari. We saw the view sight just a couple of seconds too late, so we had to do a quick U-turn. But here we are. Awesome, man. Oh dear. I'm afraid the infamous Kalahari Pebble has had a divorce from the quack tape and taken a hike. We're back to a wobbly dobbly again, I'm afraid. Oh, look at him. He don't care at all. He's trying to get to the next filling station as quick as possible, because I think he's leaking more than he's using now. Ah, well, so let's show him what the desert camel's got. See ya later. The desert camel certainly has some legs on her. After coming past the Kalahari Ferrari there, I haven't been concentrating for the last 30-40 kilometers, and I've gotten a bit far ahead of the Kalahari Ferrari. I'm going to slow down a bit and wait for him to catch up. I can see the faint light in the distance. The road is so straight. We've been going for over 100 kilometers in a straight line again. So I can see him from miles away. But he is catching up at quite a reasonable pace. There he comes. Yeah, I thought as much. He wants to get a one up on me now. Just love an old windmill. There's something so nostalgic about an old windmill. Tells a tale of yesteryear, but yet still used in the modern world. Just look at the awesome plains of the Kalahari. They just go on for miles. We're about 40 k's out from our final destination for today. so far it's been a lovely ride today. We haven't seen much except the scenery, but that's what we came for. To cover as large area possible in the shortest time and experience the scenery. I see we're closing in on almost 700 k's today, and it's been a walk in the park for the Desert Camel and the Kalahari Ferrari. I'm looking quite forward to a cold one on arrival. Welcome to Mariental. We've arrived way earlier than expected. May give me some time to explore the town a bit. An old caravel combi. I got one of those. That's where you buy all your best clothes. AC Kermans, so I've heard. Gee whiskers, they got their own private hospital here. Just a quick stop here by the spa for a grub for this evening. Right, we've just arrived at our accommodation to book in, and then we're just going to take a little ride out into the town to go and see what's happening. Just one thing is that wherever I've ridden, I have got about 4,000 thorns in my tyres, which I'm going to have to sit and pick out a bit later. My front tyre is just covered in them everywhere. There's just thorns everywhere. So I'm going to have to sit here and pick them out so that I don't have a problem somewhere along the line. They are everywhere, right around the whole tyre. So somewhere we've ridden in today on the rough, we've managed to pick these up. 400 hours later, we have now got him all out and hopefully back to the road again with no trouble. So the exploration to town didn't quite happen. It just took a bit too long to get those thorns out of my tyres, so we've opted for an evening in and a braai and a cold one. Right, so we'll chat again in the next video.